Nightcast. Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth brings you the current news from the world today and how it relates to Bible prophecy. Understanding the end-time events leading to the peaceful world tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to this March 15, 2015 edition of Nightcast. Our opening story tonight, friends, a forest fire in Chile is threatening the port cities of Valparaiso and Vina del Mar, and a state of emergency has been declared.
Firefighters in Chile are working to try and tackle a blaze that's forced around 7,000 people to flee their homes. The fire began Friday afternoon at an illegal dump and quickly spread. One person has been killed, 21 injured, and thousands evacuated from neighbourhoods and authorities, which say many thousands more may well have to leave their homes.
And friends, there are a few more details we have on that story here that have come in. Authorities say more than 4,500 people have been evacuated, and a further 10,000 may need to be moved. They estimate that about 300 hectares, that'd be 740 acres of land, have been affected. Valparaiso is still recovering from a forest fire last April that killed 15 people, injured more than 500, and destroyed more than 3,000 homes. Our next story relates to the second seal. Let's take a quick look at our seal, put it up on the screen, and bring it close up for just a minute. The first story related to the pale horse, the horse that is depicted in Revelation 6 by a pale horse. It's the fourth seal, and it has characteristics that Jesus Christ described in plain language in Matthew 24, Luke 21, and Mark 13 as loimus, meaning disease epidemics, pestilence, the plagues of Egypt. And he said between that third seal and the fifth seal there'd be seismic activity, commotions in the air such as gale force winds of all kind, and commotions on the ground such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, wildfires, such as the story we opened with tonight, and other such things. And then there would be, let's go through them in order. The first seal, the white horse, Jesus Christ said, "Beware that none deceive you. Many will come in my name, saying that I'm Christ, and yet they will deceive many." So he said, beware of the false Christ, the deceivers. The second seal, depicted by a red horse, Jesus Christ described in plain language as war, and rumors of war and world war. And then the third seal, depicted by a black horse in Revelation 6, Jesus Christ explained in plain language simply as famine. And so, going back to that first seal, the seal that relates to false religion, false Christ, antichrist, and so on. Our next story relates in a way to that, in that it involves churches of this world. And it's an unfortunate story to have to report. 10 people are dead in Christian church blast in Lahore. Bombers have attacked 2 crowded churches in the Pakistani city of Lahore as people attended Sunday services. At least 10 people have been killed, and many more have been hurt.
Well, we know that the bombs hit the Roman Catholic Church and Christ Church, and both of them were crowded on Sunday Mass. Initial reports in local media say that they're suspecting that one of those is a suicide bombing. There are reports that someone was trying to get into one of the churches and was stopped by security and blew himself up. There is an investigation into that. They're trying to decide whether these attacks were suicide bombings or planted bombs. As you mentioned, there are a number of killed and injured there. That number is likely to go up as the story progresses. But Johannabad, the neighborhood that you're talking about, is one of the country's biggest Christian community. These two churches were quite crowded, and Unfortunately, this is not the first time that the Christian community is targeted. They've time and time again have said that they're targets of attacks, of hate crimes. In 2013, for example, there were twin suicide attacks on the All Saints Church in Peshawar, which killed 80 people. But also, I think it's very significant where this attack happened. It happened in Lahore. This is the heartland of Punjab, of the Nawaz Sharif government, and this is not the first attack to happen in 6 months. Last November, we had an attack in the Wagah border. We had an attack just last month on the police headquarters, and now we have this attack on the two churches.
Jaime, do we know who has claimed responsibility for this attack?
Well, again, these are very initial reports, but the Pakistani Taliban splinter group Jamaat al-Ahrar has contacted media organizations, and they've said that they were behind the bombings. They've challenged the authorities to stop them. No word yet about reaction from the authorities or confirmation from them.
Okay, friends, moving to a story related now to Russia. A year ago, people in Crimea voted overwhelmingly to join Russia again after 6 decades of being part of Ukraine. This followed a deliberate campaign agreed by President Putin himself to send in so-called volunteers, often serving Russian soldiers, to cut off Crimea's road links with Ukraine, take over its military and naval bases, and seize hold of its government. John Simpson spoke to Crimea's prime minister in the capital in this report.
Prime Minister, will Crimea ever be part of Ukraine again?
Crimea will never be part of Ukraine. The decision has been made once and for all.
So this is it. It's never going back.
Yes, this is the end. Crimea has returned to its historical homeland.
Of course, as you know, the whole of the outside world regards this as completely illegal for one country to look at the territory of another country and say, I like that bit, I'm going to take it. That's what happened here, isn't it?
I can tell you that no one took anything. That was the choice of the Crimeans. Nothing could happen without the support of the local population, which is why this was not an act of aggression, but a real democratic act. So this is the main mistake and misunderstanding of Western leaders. People are misinformed by the media, which is failing to give an accurate picture of what happened last year in Crimea.
But you're saying that what the outside world, what Europe and the United States and the rest of the world think doesn't matter.
What does it matter what they think? I'm talking only about facts. It doesn't matter how clear we are, how democratic the way is. There's always a fixed view of Russia. Western leaders will never accept there was a democratic process.
President Putin says this was all planned out in advance. It was a coup, wasn't it?
The Russian president had to make a choice, whether to protect the population of Crimea, to give them an opportunity to express their point of view, or to abandon everyone to the nationalists. I believe his decision was the right one, and this decision was not taken before the new year. Nobody interfered with the internal politics of Ukraine. But I would have made exactly the same decision as he did.
Were you involved in the planning before this took place?
No, of course not. All the plans were made separately. But we Crimeans were preparing to defend ourselves anyway from the nationalists.
Now, I've spoken to various Crimean Tatars and to various people who regard themselves as being Ukrainian, and they're both worried. Both groups are worried about what's going to happen. Are people right to be worried about the way they'll be treated in the new Crimea?
Neither Crimean Tatars nor Ukrainians have any reason to worry. Those people who are trying to destabilize the situation on the ground in Crimea, to make people confront each other on national lines and to start conflict, those people have to be worried, as well as the media, which are provoking people to be against each other. It doesn't matter whether a person took part in the referendum or not. Ukrainian, Tatar, Greek, Armenian, there's nothing to worry about.
the father of the only Briton, the only son of Joseph, a modern-day Brit, to be killed while fighting against Islamic State, IS, has paid tribute to his son, Constantinos Eric Scurfield, age 25, an ex-Royal Marine from Barnsley, who died near the Syrian city of Qamishli. His coffin was handed over to his father and uncle in a ceremony involving hundreds of Syrian Kurds. Chris Scurfield told Jim Muir of the BBC that it was a shock when his son went to fight alongside the Kurds.
Chris, you've just been through that really emotional experience, seeing how much your son meant to the Kurds. What has it meant to you coming here to see that?
Well, it's blown me away, and I think it will blow my family away. We're very impressed and so grateful for the Kurds looking after him, his body. We just look forward to taking him home now.
He has made the supreme sacrifice. He obviously believed very strongly in this cause. Is that something you sensed along the way? Or
he would research anything he did with great care and devotion, and it comes as no surprise he chose the Kurds.
Mm-hmm. And do you get a sense of their cause here, and what he was willing to
undoubtedly, do? What they're up against is just evil, and I hope that I wish them every success in the future, and I hope that they will win this. The world's got to let them win it.
Mm-hmm. Now, your son came here kind of a bit of a surprise to you. It was a bit of a shock, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was out of the blue. We only got to know before Christmas, so we had a Christmas without him, so that helped us prepare. We kind of knew he wasn't coming back, but you always hope for the best.
So you really had that in mind, that he might not come back?
Yeah, he's a big target. Mm-hmm. Too big.
Yeah, right.
Too big.
As you were bringing him up, did you get an inkling that he would turn out to be a bit special like this?
No. You always hope that your kids fit in with society, so it's a bit of a shock when they reject their society and go and find another one. So, yeah.
So you think he really adopted this area and this cause?
Oh, undoubtedly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean for you? Do you feel he's kind of like rejected your family? No.
No, you got to go out and reach for your goals in life, and he certainly did that.
Mm-hmm. And you would encourage others to come and do the same, or just
I
leave it up to
couldn't ever
them?
Encourage anybody to do the same now. It takes a very special kind of person to do that.
We're doing a short report. That's it for this Sunday night edition of Nightcast. God willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll be back again tomorrow night, Monday night, with the day's current news related to the Bible and prophecy here on Nightcast. Until next time, your host, Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth, saying so long and good night, friends.
You have been watching Nightcast with Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth. Nightcast can be seen Sunday through Thursday nights here on COGTV.org. Tonight's program is also available anytime on demand in the COGTV.org video archive.